Do it. Do you want to kick us off by telling me your name and talking about where you're currently living?
Okay, I'm Diana, and I currently live in Sayville, New York, which is on Long Island in Suffolk County. And I have lived here since 2021.
Wow.
Sorry, '01.
Nice.
So for about roughly around 20 years.
Wow. What about your experience living in Sayville made you want to reach out to us for this interview?
It's a great little town, and I think a lot of times when I'm always looking at real estate, and I know that sometimes there's like little questions and things that you have, and you're always trying to figure out the answers before you actually make the visit or take the time for a trip. So sometimes listening to someone actually helps out. Whenever I go to an area, I always ask the people who live there, the store clerks, and anyone else about different things, and you kind of get a good feel for it.
Nice. What are some things, like some positives about Sayville that you really like?
Well, one of the things that I was looking for when I was buying a house was a place that actually had a town with like a main street that I wasn't going to spend my life at strip malls. And so they have a very pretty little town that decorates for all the holidays. It decorates from Halloween and Christmas. And so all the stores are always very involved and decorated. It's very nice. It's always kept up. It's always clean and pretty. The stores change once in a while, but always new, nice stores move in. So that was one of the things that was important to me. One of the other things that I wanted to live somewhere where I had access to the water. So it's my house is a little bit further away because the closer you get, the more expensive it is. But I'm still just it's still within Sayville, but I'm still probably just over a mile to the actual Great South Bay. So there's a lot of sailing that goes on and a lot of water things that go on. And that was one of the reasons had my first two children. I had a third after that, but I wanted them to definitely grow up near water.
Nice. If someone were to come visit you, like for the day or the weekend or something, is there something that you would recommend that they do or see while they were there that like they have to?
Well, if it's just something Sayville, which actually this has happened on more than one occasion, I definitely always bring people into town and we take a walk through town and then I take a ride over to the docks. And there's the docks and the beach, which are really pretty. And so and there's also right out very nice park where the kids can play and tennis courts. So those are definitely two of the things that I have always taken people to.
Nice. On the other side, are there some things that you wish you could change or could live without, maybe?
My commute. Okay, I work in the city, so I often drive. So my drive can be it could be over 2 hours. I work crazy hours just to keep the commute down. So if I leave at 12 at midnight, I'm only commuting an hour and 10 minutes as opposed to two. But the Long Island Expressway will still have construction or an accident, and you still could end up in a 2 hour commute at midnight. And the trains, while they run relatively fine, it's still a long ride. And once you get to the train and get off the train, it's still over 2 hours for your commute. So the commute, if you need to work within the city, is amazingly done by so many people because you just see so many people getting on the train or getting on the highway in the morning. But it is very long. That would be the only detraction that I could really say.
Nice. Where did you live before Sayville?
I grew up in Queens, in case you couldn't tell by this accent. I did spend a short time in Albany. I lived there and worked there. I spent about 10 or 11 years living in Brooklyn. Married my husband there, and then in 2001 we bought this house and moved out here.
Nice. What do you think was like your biggest move? Like which of those was the most dramatic?
Probably moving from Brooklyn to Suffolk County. Of course, you want to make the house your own, so you do some renovations, you do some changes, you learn the new commutes, you learn everything. But it was relatively smooth. There was nothing that was traumatic or no great stories came out of my move.
Nice. That's always good. Do you have any advice for someone who might be making a similar move in the future?
Probably see if you can try to do that commute and make sure you are able to do it. I would, find a hotel, maybe spend a few nights and take the ride in, or a friend that lives there. But I think that's something that you really need to know that you could actually do, because it's not for everybody.
Nice. I think that's a good idea. That's kind of all of the questions that I have today. Do you have anything you wanted to share or anything else you wanted to say before we sign off?
Just one of the things too, I mean, I think raising kids in Sayville is really nice. You still have a lot of kids riding their bikes around. There's basketball hoops out on the street where kids still play out in the street. There's my kids belong to the sailing association, which for learning to sail is relatively inexpensive. And my three kids spent their summer 3, 4 days a week sailing every day. The schools are catered a little bit more out here to the kids that are easygoing. If you have kids with issues, it's a little bit more of a struggle. And the school systems, because they're smaller, they haven't seen a lot of the issues that crop up, and they don't always know how to address them. So if you do have a child with issues and you're going to move to a small town, any small town, I would think that you'd probably want to definitely check out that school system and see if they're well equipped to deal with the issues that you have. Um, because that was a bit of a struggle. So that's one of the things that I would think of as maybe a little bit of a detraction, or something that you definitely want to look into. But if also out here, it's many, there's a huge amount of teachers that live out here, which is both helpful because they actually keep a good eye on the school and they know what to do. But it seems like it's all their kids that are in the gifted programs and nobody else's kids. So it's like there's like a secret society. But so I think those are some of the things that if you were going to be moving to probably any small area, and even though it's Long Island and it's big, it still ends up being a small town in that sense. But those are the only things that I could think that I would mention off the top of my head. But it definitely is a beautiful place to live. My kids have said to me, and they're in their 20s now, that they did love growing up here. And I think that to me makes me feel that I made a good choice.
Nice. That is nice. All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with me today. It was lovely to get to know you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Bye bye.